Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to September. Yuck. And no, I love fall, but I just know what's coming afterwards.
Yeah, we get winter here.
Yeah. And I love fall. So hopefully we have a long one this year. Anyway, this is podcast number 9.
Yay for number 9.
Yeah. And today we're going to talk a little bit about mind dumping and being in the solution instead of always thinking about your problems. So we have some fun things to share today.
It's gonna be a fun topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll start off a little bit. I've been reading a new book from, his name is Christopher Duncan, and he talks about being in not even so much the solution, but not worrying about the problem. You know, we're not broken. We don't have to fix everything. And one of the things he talked about was he had a grandma. He was a story that he was telling. His grandmother was in a home and he was late on her bill for her housing, and he didn't know how he was going to come up with the money. And his mentor told him, well, think about the worst case scenario. So he thought, why would I want to think about that? And his mentor said, well, if you think about the worst case scenario, you're going to figure out that it probably isn't that bad. I mean, you can work with it. Whatever happens, it doesn't matter what it is. However bad it is, you'll get through it, right? We get through everything. And if you don't, you die. But, but we normally get through everything that happens to us. So he talked to him and kind of talked him through it. And he said, so, just close your eyes and think about what would be the worst case scenario of a problem that you're working through right now. And when you do that and see it from a different side and just allow it to be whatever it is, you kind of feel a relief come over you. You're not in the problem anymore. You're seeing a solution. And when you do that, a lot of times other solutions are going to come to you. That's how our intuition works. That's how divine energy works. Our superconscious, our subconsciousness, and that's how it works. When we let go of the resistance or the problem, then it allows that space for good things to come in or solutions to come in. So I really liked how he talked about that, to think about, okay, what's the worst? And in that case, with his story, it was, well, then I have to move my grandma into my house with me. And his mentor asked him about it. And he said, well, I have a spare bedroom. My kids would love having her home, at our house. We can spend more quality time with her. She's getting up there in age, so we want to spend more time with her. And it was like, so then what's wrong with that? And it was a perfect thing for him. And other solutions came in too for him. So it was really cool, a really easy way to explain it for him with the story. And I really liked that way of thinking about it. So
it kind of sounds like to me that what he did is thought about, okay, well, if that thing that you're thinking about, the worst thing happens, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're talking about is getting out of the problem. The problem is this is what's happening and these things could happen.
Right.
So when you think about, well, okay, well, if this happens, what's the solution to that?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than being stuck in that single problem,
right,
he's allowing himself to think about, well, if this happened, then what would you do?
yeah,
Which is then back into the solution rather than being
right,
stuck in the
yeah,
worrying about
mm-hmm,
what could happen. You talk about that, well, if this happened, then I would
yeah,
do this.
yeah.
So then you're in that solution mindset rather than
right,
but you're not thinking about the best solution or the solution that you're really stuck on.
Yeah.
you're thinking about another solution, which allows you to open up to other solutions, is
Mhm.
what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, exactly. You're not stuck in that what if you've already gone through that. Okay, this is the worst thing that could happen. You already know that. So then it just relieves you of that worry because you already have worked through that. So something else can come in and you'll get an idea. You'll get and his worst case scenario wasn't that bad anyway,
Right.
and so even if it's just for a little while till he found a better place for her to live or whatever that might be, it was like for him, you could just feel the weight fall off of him, because he didn't have to worry about that. It wasn't that big of a deal anymore, so yeah, it's really cool to what's the quote or meme or whatever that 99% of the things you worry about never happen anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of how it is when you think about it. Okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? Big deal. It's not as big as we make it out to be a lot of times.
Yeah. Well, one thing for me is I see worry as a waste of energy.
Yeah.
I understand why we do it. However,
Right.
the worry doesn't create anything.
Yeah.
And that's why we're talking about different ways to move out of the worry and the repetitive thoughts and into a mode where you can begin to receive the solutions
Right.
rather than being stuck in the problem. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, or they even get stuck in one solution. It has to be this way.
Yeah.
When there's a plethora of other things that could be just as good or even better.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
it's just allowing yourself to open up to all the solutions and not be stuck on one, which also sometimes becomes the problem.
Right. Yeah. We can work ourselves into a lot of things that don't need to happen.
We work ourselves into a box. And
Right.
the thing is, there is no box.
Yeah.
There's the box that you create, just like when we talked about previously in one of our podcasts, that you should listen to, is a great one, about there is no shoe except for the shoe that you create to drop.
Right.
And this is another thing where don't put yourself in a box, because you have queued up so many beautiful, wonderful things that could happen in that situation. So allowing them to occur in the highest and best way really is a big deal.
Yeah.
Learning how to allow. And it sounds like the story that you're talking about, the way that he had him kind of shift his mindset, allowed him to see all of the other solutions and allowed him to allow more in with that feeling of relief.
Right. Yeah. 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 And the thing with his, the worst case was actually the best thing that could happen. And he was making it such a problem that he couldn't even see that at the time.
He was so worried about the money part of it.
Right.
He wasn't really thinking about
of the
rest.
grandma.
Yeah, the rest of like the family part of it.
Yeah. It was really cool. But it really opened my eyes to, and I had heard that kind of scenario before, to think about, well, what could be the worst that could happen, but the way it was explained with that story, it was really, really good, really easy to understand. Okay, that makes total sense now. Sometimes you have to hear things a few times before they make sense, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, like this podcast, you probably have to listen to it once or twice to go, what are they talking about?
And that might just be a random thing, but yeah. So I know you have a favorite thing that you do when you want to have too much going on in your head and you like to get rid of it. What is your technique that you like to use?
Yeah, there's some really good techniques because a lot of people have talked to us, our clients and stuff, and even sometimes ourselves, we get in our mind so much. Our mind is running, right? We've all been there. Some of us are there more of the time than is comfortable.
Right.
And so one of my favorite mind dump techniques is writing. So it's a writing mind dump technique. You might have heard of it before. It's one that can be pretty common if people are talking about self-care and journaling and things like that.
Yeah.
But this one is really good, especially if you have thoughts and patterns that keep repeating, or you have so many thoughts that you can't rest or sleep or meditate or do the things that help you relax. So this is a really good one. What I like to do is I like to just take out a piece of paper and just start writing. Whatever comes to mind, just write it down. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. positive, negative, whatever's on your mind as it comes, just write it down, even shorthand, just something where it gets your thoughts out on that paper. What
Mhm.
this helps do is helps your mind to be like, okay, again, kind of like the thank you mind we talked about in our last podcast. Check
Yeah.
that out if you haven't. It's one of my
Mhm.
favorite techniques, one of our favorite techniques that we use
Yeah.
all the time. I
Yeah.
love it. But what it does is this acknowledges your mind. It helps you to get all of those thoughts out. So then you can begin to relax and feel that sense of relief. So once you get all of those things written down, just write until you feel like your mind is beginning to clear. Once it starts feeling a little bit better, this could be 30 seconds. It could be 5 minutes. Everybody's different, right? So
Could
just
be
write.
30 minutes.
Could be 30 minutes. Some people
Yeah.
have a lot on their mind.
Right. You might have been building it up for a while.
Right?
A lot of people do.
Yeah. And I particularly like to write it out by hand in paper. This
Mhm.
is super therapeutic, wonderful
Yeah.
technique. So once you get it all written out on that piece of paper, there's a couple different things that you can do. Because what we're going to do is we're going to release those thoughts. We're going to give those thoughts over to God, the universe, the higher power, your angels, your guides, whomever you want to just take on that burden of your thoughts. And what we do is there's a couple things you could do. My favorite technique personally is to burn it. I love to burn it and just watch it go up in flames and release it. Obviously, either do this outside.
Yeah. Don't do it in your living room.
Yes. Either outside in like a place where there's not dry grass. We're very mindful of that. Fire pit is the best, or if you have like a driveway or something where it's not going to burn, and burn it and just watch the smoke go up and release it. And then kind of bury it under some earth is what my favorite thing to do. Or you can tear it up into pieces. People find that to be very therapeutic in general as well.
Yeah.
So tearing it up and throwing it in the garbage and just saying goodbye, good riddance, thank you for being here. Yeah, I don't need you anymore. So that one's really nice too, tearing it up. A lot of people like the tearing up one.
It's physically
feels really good to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Shredding is another one that can be very
I like
satisfactory
to
as
shred.
well. Yeah,
I
shredding
shred
stuff
a lot.
feels good. And then another one is you can also put it in the freezer. Just put it in the freezer and tuck it away. And then when you feel like disconnected from that, then you can do one of the other techniques. Some people feel good with that one too.
Yeah.
It's kind of giving it over until you're ready to get rid of it.
Yeah.
That one, that's kind of a delayed satisfaction. So to each their own.
And a lot of times if you do that, if you read it again before you shred it, some of those things probably aren't bothering you anymore.
Yeah.
Already,
Yeah, you've already released the energy to them.
Right.
Which is really important with this technique, is just letting it go.
Yeah.
I'm writing it all down. I'm getting it all out so I can finally begin to let it go and hand it over. So that's those are some of my favorite things. Another part of this technique could be if you want to also put it in a God box.
Yeah.
And a God box can be good for several different things. One is releasing and giving things over to God, the universe, the higher power, to help you with the different worries and situations. I'm giving this to you. Please help me with letting this go, with moving forward. So you can either do that with your worries, or you can also use a God box for the things that you want.
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that I'd like to manifest. I don't know how they're going to happen, but I would like them to happen. And so you start putting them in your God box and say, these are the things that I want.
Yeah.
And then you also don't worry about how they're going to happen. And we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of not worrying about the how of things happening, because worry is a useless emotion, which does not create.
Right. We want to be in creation mode all the time.
And receiving.
And receiving. And when we are in that space, that's when we're the happiest. When you're creating and having fun in your life and just doing things to help you get to that end goal or whatever it is, you're happy, you're feeling the motion, the momentum, and that's the best time of life. So we want to stay in that energy as much as we can.
We want to allow ourselves to enjoy the now by letting go of the how.
Right. Good one. That would be a good t-shirt or a good cup.
Yeah, it would be. We'll work on that.
I'm always on the
I just made a new catchphrase that I made up in my mind just now.
Yeah. Hashtag, write that one down. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, so
what about these techniques? Is there anything that you like to use that's similar, or do you use some of the same techniques, Tracy?
I use a lot of the same ones. Mostly I love to write them down too, like you do. And I like to think about the worst case scenario. I've been doing that the last few days as I've been reading this book. And it's really been good for me to let go. And it's amazing how when you let go of that stuff, or even writing it down and then burning it or shredding it, whatever you do, even the next few minutes, something pops into your head like, oh, why didn't I think of this before? Or I could do this. And you just automatically get into that creative mode. Once you set that stuff down, it's amazing how it happens. It's magic.
It helps you reconnect to your inspiration.
Right. Yeah, it really does connect you to that God within you. And
that connection to your source of all that is. Inspiration literally comes from the Latin in spirit.
Yeah. So good. So fun. Another thing popped into my head and we'll probably do a more in-depth podcast on it someday, but Ho'oponopono is a really good one to let go. And if you've never heard of Ho'oponopono before, it's an ancient Hawaiian healing method. And all you really have to do is think about, a person that you're in conflict with, or your situation that you're in, or the problem that you're trying so hard to work on. we really shouldn't do that.
Sometimes we try too hard.
We try too hard on the things that don't matter. But and all you have to do is say, I love you, I'm sorry, thank you, forgive me. Yeah, 4 sayings. You don't really have to have them in any special order. And you just keep saying them over and over and over in your head or out loud, whatever. And the more you do that, it's called clearing or cleaning. You do it, and pretty soon it's just something that runs in the back of your mind all the time. Do it on people, do it on, whatever you need done. And it really helps you, it's thanking the divine, the universe, the whatever creator, that I'm here, I'm sorry for anything that I may have caused or ancestors may have caused that is causing this problem. I love you, I love myself, I love you, I love everything about this situation. And you just say those over and over and over. Thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. And that's all you do. You can find lots of information about it on YouTube, or there's a few teachers that really teach some good things about Ho'oponopono. And I've used it in my life for years and years, like 20 years. And it's amazing. And my husband, this is his favorite thing to use to get over things or get through his things that he's trying to work out. He uses it all the time. So it's just a fun, easy thing to do. And
yeah, I think we definitely should talk about that in a later podcast. I think a lot of people would really love to learn that technique.
Right.
It's super helpful, super amazing, and we can run through it with people more in depth.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, it's a good one. So we'll be looking for that. We'll do it in the future.
That'll be a fun one. I love Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, I do too. Very good. Okay, so what else? Another technique. I heard it from Byron Katie. She is a self-help author or self-development author, a Hay House author. And she always asks the question, when you have something running through your mind, she'll say, just ask yourself, is it true? Well, sometimes you don't know if it's true or not. You're just making it up in your head, you
Right.
know? A
Yeah.
lot of the things we worry about, we don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
And so she asks, says, ask yourself that, okay, do you know that it's true? And a lot of times it's not. So then you think, well, why am I worrying about this if I
Right.
don't even know if it's true or not? Right. So just let it go. And sometimes just asking that question, do I know that this is true? It takes the energy off of it, and you're able to just set it down and let it go. And it's like, wow, why was I even thinking of that,
Yeah. Well, my question is, if something hasn't come to fruition yet, and so you're
Mhm.
worrying about it, it's obviously not true because it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So if it's not true, why are you worrying about it, thinking about it, focusing on it to make it your truth if it's not something you want to happen either?
Right. Yeah.
So it isn't true.
Right.
If you're worrying about it, it hasn't happened yet, then it's not true.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's that interesting. It's not your truth. It's not your
Right.
truth yet. Do you want it to be your truth? Do you not want it to be your
Yeah.
truth? And if you don't, then what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of things
Yeah.
that you can do about it rather than be staying in the worry or in the problem.
Why not focus on creating what you want?
Focus on creating what you want.
Right.
Absolutely. Which is another thing
Yeah.
that we're going to talk about today. One of our
Yes.
favorite techniques
Yeah.
for focusing on what you do want,
Mhm.
for helping you in your manifestations.
Yeah.
Something that we love to do, and it just feels really, really good
Mhm.
to do it as well. Do you
Yeah,
want to
it
talk
does.
a little bit about what we're
Yeah.
going to do today? We're going to do it together. We're all going to do
Yeah.
this technique together. It's going to be fun.
So it's called leveraging. And what we do is get into the feeling that you already have what it is that you're trying to manifest. Whether it's a new job or a new car or whatever, getting married, having a kid, whatever it is, buying a new outfit, anything really.
Big, small, minuscule,
Yeah.
giant, mass, doesn't matter.
Yeah, a new house, whatever it is.
All things are good things to want.
Yeah. And the universe is unlimited. We don't have limits on ourselves. We put those on ourselves, but we don't have them. If you want something, it's not too big. If you get an idea of something that you want to do, God put that in your head for a reason. You might not want to act on it, but it might be something fun to go for. And we shouldn't hold ourselves back from doing the things that we want to do.
Right.
God doesn't want that for us. We're here to experience life and to have fun and to do things that we want to do. So
if you can dream it, you can have it.
Right. Yeah. So leveraging is all about feeling that, being in that thing. So maybe take a minute or, a couple seconds really, and write something down that you want. Something that you've been wanting, or something that you think it would be fun to create, or something like that, and just write it down. And then we will leverage. So when we leverage, I can't even remember the seconds. Do we have to go a certain time limit? 18 seconds. 17
it
seconds.
has to be at least 17 seconds.
Yeah, I knew it was. I couldn't remember. So, and we think about that and be in that energy of it for at least that long. And that's creating those, connectors to the things that you want. So you're in that, you're feeling it. Once you feel it and you know what it's going to feel like, we can't know until it actually happens, but we can imagine it to be there. Imagine what it's going to feel like. And imagination is so close to intuition and creating what you want that it's starting those wheels turning. It's telling the universe, this is how I want to feel. And I'm going to have this thing, I do have it already. You're going to put yourself in that place of having it. Mm-hmm. And then you just think about it for a little bit, and we'll time it and see how it feels, see what magic that creates. It's really fun to do.
Yeah. And the beauty of leveraging is it begins your momentum in that vibration.
Mhm.
It puts you in that vibration of having those things that you're wanting.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, it allows you to be in that space where the vibration of that thing can meet you.
Mhm.
Like you are meeting that. It's the law of attraction. Like attracts like. You meet things at that same vibration
Right.
that they're at. So when you're in that good feeling, that means you've raised your vibration to that point where that thing that you want
Mhm.
can meet you.
Yeah.
Because nothing you want that would feel good in having would make you feel bad.
Right.
And so you want to put yourself in the vibration of the things that feel really
Mhm.
good to you. You want to be in that vibration to meet those things where they're queued up for you to meet you. And that's what leveraging helps you do, is to stay in that vibration long enough for things to start to meet you,
Yeah.
big and small.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, it's, when we're in that vibration, that's when you're going to get the inspirational thoughts that are going to get you to take that step. We can't just think about something and it's going to magically appear.
I mean,
but,
it could happen. However,
yeah.
a lot
It
of times
can.
it puts you in inspiration where you can take that inspired action that
Right.
leads you there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're going to get those little hits that are going to say, okay, go this way. Okay, do this thing. Okay, I'm getting closer. I can feel it coming. I got goosebumps on that. So, as long as we're taking those steps and taking that creative action to get to where we want to be, it's going to happen faster than we ever could imagine.
Mhm.
So,
And what's fun is with leveraging, sometimes even just like little things will start to happen that will surprise and delight you, to show you that you're on that right path.
Right.
It feels really good. It's fun.
It's good. And when you do it with other people, like in our coaching group, we do it. There's one every night on a call that you can get on if you want. And everybody that's on that call is thinking about what they want, and you can just feel the energy go up, and everyone's in that same vibration of creating. And people have manifested some really cool things by doing that.
It's been really beautiful.
Yeah. And, when you do it in a group, or even if you have a friend that you want to leverage with, do a call once a week and just leverage on what you're working on. And it's so fun. So think about that. The more people that do it together, the more energy that's bringing us up.
Yeah, because we all leverage together. So when you have something you want to leverage, we all put the energy into that to help you with what you're trying to create. We all kind of create together.
Yeah. And it keeps you in that creation mode rather than worrying, how am I going to do this? We're not worrying about the how at all. Don't even think about how it's going to happen.
How doesn't matter.
Feel yourself in that situation that you want to be in, or that creation that you're trying to do. So be there. If you're there first in the energy, it's going to come to you so much easier and so much faster.
Right.
So always, not always do, be, have. It's have, be, do. You can mix up the words and it works.
Doesn't have to be doesn't have to be linear. Linear is ridiculous. Who likes linear?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So should we do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should.
All right. So think about that thing if you wrote it down, or it's nice to write the things down because it makes it more real that way if you write it. So think about it, write it down. You can close your eyes.
And I think maybe we'll do the leveraging for about a minute.
Okay.
Because that really just gets the momentum going, gets your juices flowing, lets you dream a little bit more. So we want you to feel it. We want you to see it. We want you to just enjoy the energy and just think of what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
You already have it.
You do. Do you have a timer? I don't know what I did.
Yep, I do have a timer. So I'll get my timer here up. You know when you have too many apps? Okay, got it.
Okay, so close your eyes, breathe, and think about that thing that you want. I'll just talk a little bit as we're doing it so you remember. Feel yourself in that car, in that home, on that vacation, whatever you're wanting to manifest, be in it. Smell the smells, feel the whatever it is around you. Breathe it all in.
Okay. We actually did a little bit extra
Awesome.
time because who doesn't love that? We did about a minute and 30 seconds and it went really fast.
Yeah, it did. Doesn't that feel good? Can you almost feel the things that you're wanting, the thing that you're manifesting?
And we
I
so
could.
love and appreciate all of the
Mhm.
things that we just manifested together.
And I have a little saying here that one of our mentor, Jen, used to say at the end of leveraging, and we grant full permission to deliver what we have created in this time of leveraging.
And so it is.
So it is. Yeah. Feels so good. I got goosebumps. I always get goosebumps when I hear that.
Mhm.
It's so good. So good to put yourself in that and feel what it's going to feel like. And because it is.
Yeah, it always feels good.
Yeah.
And you know how we talked about in one of our previous podcasts. Again, if this is the first time you're seeing us, our other ones are excellent. You should go back too, because all of this kind of fits together in the things that we're
Right.
talking about.
Yeah.
But it's so good to put yourself in that space. It's so
Mhm.
good to be in that creation and putting yourself in that vibration of all the things
Mhm.
that you're wanting. And when you do this, when you are creating these things in your mind and you're feeling it, it's already on its way to you. You're matching the vibration of that thing.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful to allow yourself that space. You're finally in that allowing. I allow myself to dream and to know that I can have these things that I want, and I deserve to have these things.
Yeah.
And if that was in contradiction to your soul, to your inner being that is always connected to source, it would feel bad. But in that dream that you had and the things that you were thinking about, it felt really good, didn't it? And so that means that your inner being, your soul agrees that you can have those things, agrees that this is a positive thing for you. And yes, I'm on that path of helping you get there. And so you're in alignment when you're in that space. So isn't that cool?
Yeah. Yeah. It feels so good. And, it's actually helping so that it's some of the things maybe are a big step that you want to take that you're going to manifest. And it might be a huge feeling that you may not know what it's going to feel like. But if you think about it every day or every couple days and get in the feeling of already having it, then when it comes, it's going to feel like, oh, I knew it, this is what I felt, it's going to feel like this.
Yeah.
So it makes it familiar to you so that you can allow it in a lot easier when it's familiar.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leveraging is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And again, I love this saying that Jen always says, and that's our Best Life Creation Society, which is our coaching
group that we have or that we're in,
which we love, which we're always willing to accept new members. So if you want information on that, let us know, message us or send us something in the comments and we'll definitely lead you there so you can take a look.
Yeah.
But I love this leveraging thing that we end with, and we'll say it one more time. So if you want to write it down, you can.
Yeah.
And we grant full permission to deliver what we have created in this time of leveraging.
Yeah.
And I
So
love
good.
to add, and so it is.
And so it is, yeah. I love that too. And so it is. I use that a lot. Yeah, so that's all we have for you today, I
Yeah.
think. It's been a fun one. Use these techniques, practice with them, listen again if you didn't catch it all. And
Leverage
just
something
do it.
else.
Yeah, leverage it. You can leverage more than one thing, do it a couple times a day if you want, or every day something else for 5 days.
Yeah, or even the same thing.
Yeah,
You have
Yeah.
limitless options.
right. Yeah, you can't overuse it.
No, you can't. No.
So that's it for today. Welcome and have a great week. We'll talk to you again next week. And if you want to follow us, on Facebook, we have SoulSpace is our page together, our office page,
It's
we
at
call it.
our soul space.
At our soul space. My page on my business page is called Inspired Signals by Tracy Kova.
Yep. And mine is Light of Hope Healing. So please feel free to find us on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Tracy also has a wonderful website as well, if you want to look at that.
inspiredsignals.com. So just check us out and follow us, and we'll always be here on YouTube too. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.